As I've made the trip up here, it seemed rude not to go away with a few pigs as well.
Hi folks, welcome back. Today it's all about pigs. In particular, the Oxford Sandy and Black. These gorgeous little creatures are just an amazing little breed, and we thought today's video we would share a little bit more about them. Pigs were pretty much the first thing to arrive at the farm, apart from a handful of chickens and the odd duck. So we've spent about a year learning the hard way on keeping pigs, what to do, what not to do, and with varying amounts of success and failure, we've also had our first products back in the form of sausages, bacon and gammon and pork and all sorts of goodies. So we wanted to talk today more about the breed, but rather than us just share what we've learned, I thought I would ask Heber, who kindly gave us a bit of his time when I went out to buy some goats recently, about what he finds is great about the breed, how he breeds and how he keeps his pigs, but also a little bit about the bloodlines, because this is a rare breed, traditional pig at the end of the day, and there are various bloodlines which are really struggling in numbers, and it's great to see that he's supporting some of those rarer bloodlines. So as we go into another year with some older ones, we've got a few young ones that you'll see us picking up in the video, and also Matilda, who you can see here, is due to have another litter this summer. So it's going to be a busy year of pigs again, but here's a little bit more info on this amazing breed. Leave my camera, leave my camera. It's all gone to pot.
Right, I don't want to keep Heber all day, but we're going to do another short video. If you haven't seen it already, we've done a video on the boar goats, and I've picked up some, but I also thought I'd grill him on the Oxford Sandy and Blacks, because it just so happens we kind of keep the same breeds. As I've made the trip up here, it seemed rude not to go away with a few pigs as well, because we're going to have a bit of a window in between our 7 or so that are ready now, and also our next litter, which won't be until July, providing Matilda's in pig. So this batch here, do you say 11 weeks old?
Yep, 11 weeks, yeah.
So these guys here are 11 weeks old. There's 2 litters in there, so I picked out 3 gilts. That means that if we keep any of our older gilts on, we could potentially run them together in the summer down in the woods. But anyway, so these are all the different batches, and I think there's an even younger set outside, which was a bit of a surprise farrowing. So you have got all sorts of generations going on here. And it's just so organised and quite inspiring. Well, you say it's not organised.
It's not organised.
It's better than me dragging buckets of water around the field. So we've just taken 3 from this batch here.
Yeah, from this batch.
11 weeks old?
Yep, 11 weeks old, yep. It came off 2 different sows.
Yeah.
So the mothers were an Irish bloodline and a Sybil bloodline. So they lived next together from when they were born. Yeah. They were born a little bit close. I tried to farrow every 30 days. But these guys kind of missed that point, and there was about 10, 15 days difference. So
pretty much the same. Yeah.
Pretty much. So they've been living next to each other. So we put them together once we weaned the sows.
And why did you pick Oxford Sandy and Blacks?
Striking to look at.
Yeah. We're so shallow. That's all I picked them for. I was like,
really, really good calm. They're just calm
heritage.
Pigs.
Yeah,
a traditional British breed, which we kind of generally, when we first started, the ethos of where we wanted to go, and I tried to do my bit for the rarer lines, predominantly.
Which are the rarer lines? Because we've got Mary, but right. I think that's quite a common one, right?
Yeah, Mary's quite common. When I first started in about 3-4 years ago, Sybils were really like, there was only 13 sows left in the country. Yeah. Now over 20. We had Lady. I think there was only 16 in the country, and we're now well over 20 ladies. Wow. And then I got a Gloria, an Iris. But I do have 4 Sybil sows,
So what we're talking about here is the bloodline of the sows, and then this is the equivalent in the boars.
Yeah.
So does it matter what boar you put across what bloodline of sow?
So the bloodlines in that sense don't actually make a difference. Okay. Because you could have a Clarence boar mated with a Sybil sow. Yeah. And then the offspring could be mated with a Jack, so the boars always follow the male name. So in theory, you could have something quite related, even though they might carry a different name.
Right, okay. That makes
so
sense.
although it could be a Jack, it could have come out of something that was sired by a Clarence.
Yeah.
So that's why it's always worth doing a bloodline check. So on the Grassroots website, you can, which is the Pedigree
and
services,
you can trace it back.
You can put in the pedigree name of your boy, the pedigree name of your sow, and it'll actually colour code links. So you've got 3 different colours. So you've got, I think it's green. I might be talking out of turn, but it's definitely green, amber, and red. So if there's anything that's red, it's of concern, or probably it'll advise to be breeding those. Amber, possible, and then if you get the go
Green,
ahead,
then unrelated.
I think it's relatively new that actually, because before you had to ask a lot of questions and print a lot of pedigrees out and do a lot of digging, but now it just flashes up straight away.
In pig at the end, or?
No, she's just been weaned a week ago.
Okay.
But because of this,
so some of these,
this sow and this sow that both these litters are from,
yeah,
were weaned at the same time, and I try and farrow every 30 days. I've had to hang her back, so then she can go in her next cycle probably, and she cycles every 24, 25 days.
And then these are a generation older, a month older?
Yeah, so these are a month older.
And you've got a market now for all your pigs?
Yeah, we're supplying to 2 butchers, yeah.
Amazing.
One guy supplies Michelin star chefs around Liverpool and Oldham and such like areas. But he also started postal service now, so my meat ends up going all over the place.
Nice. Yeah, I'd love to be able to, I mean, obviously if you've got the workflow to kind of package and couriers and stuff, it's great to be able to do that.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I know a lot of people have asked on the videos, so maybe one day we'll get to that. I know our butcher does it.
Yeah.
He sells a lot of game.
Does he?
A lot of wild boar and deer, and it's all sent out, so he said he'd do it for us.
Interesting.
We'll look into it. And then who have you got outside?
So we've got 3 sows that are in pig.
Yeah.
And 1 that unexpectedly farrowed last week.
In the snow.
In the snow, in -5.
And they did fine.
Fine, still fine now, yeah.
I was going to ask you, so this is scaffold, but
Yeah,
that looks like it's worked well.
my dad just made this. I did farrow just in this pen, but I quite often had piglets when they were newborn crawling into these corners away from the sow and getting cold.
Okay. Yeah.
So we've got a board that slides in here and stops the piglets from coming out. The rails to stop the sow getting up against the wall. To squashing any piglets.
Yeah. So I did that in timber, but actually that's a really good way of doing it.
It actually saved quite a few piglets already.
Yeah. And have you ever farrowed? Well, obviously you have accidentally, but you farrow in the arcs as well.
Outside, I'll be honest, it's opened my eyes a little bit. To be honest, I would be tempted to do it again.
Yeah.
Simply because there's so much warmer. I think my next project for in here is actually building some sort of canopy and some sort of kennel types, so that it's got a lid on it, so it actually keeps some heat in.
Yeah, all the 3 arcs I bought from this pig farm all came with a farrowing sort of hooks on, like a little pen.
Yeah.
And I said, do you ever have them crushed or anything inside the arc? And then it just said, no, like hardly ever, because I guess it is shaped that way anyway.
Yeah, prevent the sow from sitting up
and
the sides.
And they had 200 sows, so like it obviously works to do it outside.
This is a homebred. We bred her ourselves.
And what line's that?
That's a Sybil.
So characteristic-wise, being that she's darker, or like, does different lines look different?
No, they don't all look different. Well, sort of say they do look different. Yeah. So your Sybils do look different, but all my Sybils do look slightly different because I have a Sybil that's outside now that actually looks very different to my homebred Sybil. So I have 3 homebred Sybils and 1 that I bought in from down Somerset, and they do have their own traits. This lady's got a really short face.
Yeah,
but my mum had a really long face, but my old Clarence boar had a really short face.
And what's the breed standard?
So just an average sort of length of face. You don't really want them too long or too short. Yeah. But for me, I just generally prefer quite a shorter face, and it's passed on in a piglets, to be honest.
Random question, but our sow is like 4 or 5 years old, and they're like massive. Is that just an age thing, or can they be too big?
Yeah, this is her first litter, so she's only just
recently. They look like a sensible pair of ears. Matilda is like a flipping elephant, African elephant, like hanging around.
Yeah, no, she's her first litter, so she will probably double in size. Her mum outside is absolutely huge.
Yeah, the interesting thing, feed-wise, which we were kind of talking about earlier, is you go for £4.
£4.
And that is the same. Once they get to like 4 months of age, 4-month-old, and a sow, they get exactly the same.
Yeah.
Which doesn't seem right, does it?
No, I do. I have found that I do need to increase when they're outside in winter, just to give them a little bit more. They might get £5 a day. My sows,
and obviously when they're in pig.
Yeah, when they're feeding piglets, she's probably on £16 a day. Yeah. But she's still losing condition, but she's feeding her piglets really well. Yeah. And in all honesty, I'll probably have to give her a rest when I wean her.
Yeah. And I noticed the drinkers are nice and small and compact and auto. Would you go with those?
Yeah, they've really good success with these.
They can't tip them over.
This building was designed for use for sheep, for goats, for everything. But it just so happened that I realised that once piglets are at weaning age, as you can see that fella just having a drink, they can reach. So the only thing is that they do need cleaning out because they do stand on them and they do get full of muck.
I left here the Monday morning. I bought one for the goats. And it stays clean all the time, the goats. But I guess these guys different.
Got to keep them clean.
So they're like the equivalent of ducks in poultry, aren't they?
Oh, the messy creatures. Yeah, constantly got to keep it all clean.
Well, that was a long old journey. We're back. It's daylight still. I've picked up the chicks. They're okay. That's my first priority. Although these guys have been in the trailer for a long time, they've got loads of space, loads of air. They're absolutely fine. The chicks are a day old. We need to sort them out. And then we'll get on to the big ones. Right, my idea on the way home when I was stuck in the M6 was to repurpose this for the time being. These are rusty old water troughs, but I think they'll be perfect for the chicks. Check the bulb works. Yeah. The light scattering's enough. Decent under there. Get the water this end, and most importantly, get something over the top. Well, that went fine. Exactly 40 in there. So nice to get this covered, water, some chick crumb. That's the chicks done. For now, got hurdles set up, piglets will go in here. Just kick that straw across. Good. Come on, piggos. Oh, bless them, they look tiny. Come on, pigs. Yeah, I'll get you a nice bucket of water if you get in there. Oh, sorry, that's slippy. In you go. Right, we'll see how hurdles last overnight. They're only little pigs. They should be alright. It's been a few days now since the piglets arrived, so I thought we'd finish this video with how they've settled in. And I just went into the barn to see how they'd been doing, and they're not there. They have made a bid for freedom. I know where they are. I mean, these ones are young anyway, so they're not at an age where you'd be worried about breeding, but fortunately they've made their way all the way down to the bottom field where the other girls are, who are 10 months old now, 9 months old. But it's not a bad thing because it was a pain that keeping them in a hurdled pen in the barn where they can lift a hurdle. A sheep hurdle is just not suitable for a pig, and even a piglet. So I'm going to see if I can lift the electric and move them in, and hopefully they'll find the arks. There's 2 arks down here, and then we'll just feed them all together, and I'll just feed them in 2 separate areas. All right, steady, Mags. All right, you gonna go in? Maggie, get back. It's the one animal the dog winds up the most. Maggie, leave. Come on. Leave my camera, leave my camera. Leave it, Mags. Come on, sausage. Girls, please, come on. I've got to go to guides and brownies still. If it was only 2, I'd go for the old rugby tackle. Tell you what, we might be in for something here. Please don't eat sheep poo, pigs. Oh no! Oh, that's not meant to happen. Go on. It's all gone to pot. Just need to lift that. Mags, steady. Go on. Go on, pigs. Go on. Ah, no, they don't know electric at all. Rubbish. Alright, I don't mind Piglets out, but this gilt cannot be out because her brothers are in the next field. Leave it, Mags. Watch it, they bite back, those ones, Maggie. Come on, big girl. Hello. Hi. Yeah, well, I'm trying to catch Piglets. I could do with a child or 3. What Heber was telling us about the bloodlines, I can't even remember what he said these ones were. Maybe Iris. But they're a different, slightly different shape from our ones. Our Mary's a little bit more torpedo shape, I would say. These are a little bit more chunky, which is a good thing, I guess. Mags, leave them now. But they're a nice looking pig. These aren't, I don't think these met breed standards, so they won't be for keeping. But they will be spending a lovely summer out and about on the farm if they begin to listen. Come on, girls. They're coming through, the sun's out, look at that. But it is something in time that I really want to look at a bit more, the bloodlines, and see if when we get another sow or a younger gilt ready to farrow, maybe get a different bloodline from Matilda. Go on. Do not let them go right. Oh shit. Ah! Come on! They can get under that gate. Oh, well done. Well done. You gonna? Yeah. Anyway, it might be a bit gloomy and getting dark, but that is our little pig episode. So this one finished here, but it started up in Lancashire, where we picked up these girls. Thank you to Heber. If you want to check out Heber's Instagram page, it's really good. He posts up, I think, pretty much every day. He's got all of his rare breed poultry, obviously all of his boar goats, Oxford Sandy and Blacks, and then he also has a flock of Herdwick sheep and Rylands. So a lot going on up there and really interesting stuff to see. So please go and give him a follow, and I'll put that link down. And if you can't find it down there, it's Eves Hall Farm, and that's on Instagram. And I'm trying to persuade him to do a few more videos and vlogs on there. As you can see, it is definitely bedtime. It's gale force winds and flooding outside, so at least these girls are tucked up warm and dry. If you've got any questions on Oxford Sandy and Blacks and the breed, stick them down below. And I will also put down below the link to the Facebook group, because when you get into a breed and you start keeping a particular livestock, there's always a support group, the official breed group or a breed society. And it just so happens that the Oxford Sandy and Black have a charity group, and it is just the most supportive group. I'm involved with lots of different groups and breed societies, but I must say the Oxford Sandy and Black group are really, they're a great bunch on there. So if you're interested in keeping pigs, this is a great breed, and if you do decide to keep this breed, then make sure you've joined that group, because it's just full of info. And on their website, they've got all sorts kind of calculators for feed costs and how to weigh, or just about anything you need to think about, whether you're a beginner or experienced, it's all on there. Anyway, that's my plug for the Oxford Sandy and Blacks. I'm going to leave it there. Say good night to everyone. Good night, everyone. And thank you for watching. Take care. And we'll see you next time. Oh, can you hear that?